Now, we just talked about this yesterday in this hour. Our Y'all-itics podcast that is out this week is talking about this very subject. In Uvalde, where that school shooting took place recently, we haven't gotten hardly any of the details about that police response. The Uvalde City Council has been meeting this week, and members have been facing a room full of angry citizens. Families of the 21 people who were gunned down in that school and the dozens who were wounded in the May 24th school massacre have all been demanding answers about the police response that day, but so far, even they have gotten nothing. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan.
Look at it as a dad, as a parent. Don't do what you can do as a mayor. Go beyond that.
More than 5 weeks after the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School, families of the victims say they still lack clarity about the police response. 21 people were killed as officers waited over an hour to enter the classroom where the gunman was holed up.
Show your face, answer our questions now.
But Mayor Don McLaughlin says his hands are tied, that the city has been ordered by county and state investigators not to release information until the probe into the police response is complete.
We're not trying to hide anything from you. We're not trying to do anything. We don't have anything.
That answer didn't sit well with some of McLaughlin's constituents.
We're looking for some answers that nobody seems to be getting, and it's just making Uvalde PD and everybody else look even more guilty.
I agree.
Among those not present at Thursday's special meeting of the Uvalde City Council was District 3 Councilman Pete Arredondo, elected 18 days before the mass shooting, and whose day job is as chief of police for the Uvalde School District.
Why didn't you just fire him? Why is it that y'all have to go by these laws that make no common sense?
Chief, what anything to say to the parents?
Thursday's was the second council meeting that Arredondo has missed since he was sworn in. If he's absent from the next one on July 12th, Arredondo could be kicked off the Uvalde City Council. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
After the shooting in Uvalde, we've seen schools here in North Texas stepping up their security measures. Lake Worth district leaders tell us that they have approved a plan now to put school resource officers on campuses to help patrol. They will be in place when students return to school this fall. As we mentioned, the Uvalde investigation is the topic of our latest episode of our Y'all-itics podcast. Specifically here, State Senator Roland Gutierrez is joining us and says if the public gets to finally see the security footage and that body cam footage from that day and other records that were related to the Uvalde massacre, what we are going to see is chaos. But so far, he says, even he, a sitting senator in this state, has been denied access to any of the records, and so he is suing the state to get them released.
There is no legal justification or rationale for keeping this information from us. At one point, they wanted me to sign a non-disclosure agreement. I will not do that. I am not going to sign a non-disclosure agreement for this information because the public needs to know, my constituents need to know.
And again, in his time in government, he says he's never signed a non-disclosure agreement for something like this, a big investigation. The senator also talks at length about the loss of trust in the Uvalde community there, what he learned during the two-day state Senate hearings, and what he is planning for the next legislative session to make responses, police responses better, and to try to prevent these things from happening in the first place. To listen, all you have to do is scan that QR code right there on your screen. It's a really interesting discussion, and be sure to subscribe and leave us some feedback as well. If you didn't grab that QR code, you can find it wherever you get your podcasts. Just look for Y'all-itics or WFAA.